Welcome to our June 2021 Pasadena Chalk Festival, a panoramic view of the history, settings, faces, and virtuosic artwork created over the past 28 years. The Chalk Festival is produced by Lightbringer Project and sponsored by the Paseo, Blick Art Materials, and the City of Pasadena's Arts and Culture Commission. It all began in 1993 at the Pasadena City Hall.
I'm Tom Costin, Board Chair of Lightbringer Project. I want to welcome you to our virtual Pasadena Chalk Festival. We're coming to you from a famous rooftop in Pasadena to bring you this film which documents the 28-year history of the Pasadena Chalk Festival, with photos from before cell phones even. And we also have some special guest appearances, so stay tuned. Before we get started, we have to ask ourselves, what is the art of street painting and when did it really begin? And to answer that question, you have to go back to the 16th century. And that's when soldiers returning home from battle gave homage to the Virgin Mary in front of churches and cathedrals for saving their lives and bringing them back home to their loved ones and their families and their towns. They were called the imaginari for that reason, which translated means street artist. After World War II, itinerant artists made their money by traveling from town to town and painting renditions of masterpieces on the boulevards and streets of cities and towns, of artwork that actually couldn't be seen in some of the great museums that people were unable to attend. So they would throw money down looking at those renditions of the masterpieces on the ground, and until the police came and moved the artists off and they went on to the next town and they did the same. And that's how many of them made their living. As time went on, when we get into the 1970s, street painting festivals became more popular, bringing groups of artists together to do the same for the visiting public. So, the actual first street painting festival was held in 1890 in London, England, which is really amazing to think about. But street painting also had a utilitarian public service aspect to it, and that's when people who couldn't read the newspapers, the current news, actually looked on the ground at pictures that were drawn by street painters to tell them what was happening. So the news was actually articulated by street painting on the ground for those who weren't literate. And street painting has taken on many different forms, and of course fantasy and whimsy is a big part of it as well on the other extreme. And one always can reference the famous scene in Mary Poppins where a mural was created in chalk and everybody jumped into it. The first modern-day chalk festival was held in 1973 in a small town in Italy. It was held on the Feast of the Assumption, which is in keeping with the whole aspect of the imaginari coming together to create images that a lot of them are images from the early days, images of the Madonna and renditions of masterpieces, and then other kinds of contemporary art that the artists of the day brought to it. People came to attend, and since then, festivals have become popular throughout Europe and now also in North America and Latin America. The art of street painting isn't just relegated to chalk, which we're all really familiar with. And by the way, lots of artists make their own chalk out of different pigments to create different kinds of coloration for the murals. But you have to think about sand painting executed by the Tibetan monks. It's temporal, just like chalk painting, because once it's created, they actually blow it away. the minute it's completed. There's other kinds of art forms that are done on the ground that use natural elements like seeds and branches and flowers and leaves and other dried elements of nature. They dye sand and create designs in Mexico. So it's not just limited to chalk, although chalk has really proliferated as one of the most popular forms of art on the ground around the world in many festivals that we see today. The Pasadena Chalk Festival began in 1993 on July 5th in 95-degree heat. 125 artists showed up in front of City Hall, which is right over my shoulder. The beautiful City Hall lit up there. It provided a kind of Mediterranean backdrop that was similar to the Italian festival, so it was a perfect setting, but a really difficult surface. And after doing it for the first time, artists were really concerned because they had never done it before on pavement, and they also weren't used to talking to people about their art while they were making it. But they loved the experience, and every year more and more of them came back to be part of the Pasadena Chalk Festival. We incorporated other art forms as well. We had Tibetan sand painting at one of our festivals, and the next year we brought, I think next year was in 2005, we brought Aboriginal artists from Australia who came here and did dream paintings with chalk in front of the same City Hall. And it was an exciting thing for the public to be able to see artists create the kind of artwork that was indigenous to them and their culture that they'd never seen before, and start to understand it in its nature. So over the years, many artists came back to the point that we grew and grew and grew and had to think about a new location because we needed new amenities and we need new space. So that's when we went over to Paseo, Colorado, which is also just to the right of Pasadena City Hall, down the street from the first festival. And when we went to Paseo, we were able to have basically a concourse the size of 3 football fields, also using the front plaza of the Civic Center building. And to this day, we have over 600 artists creating 200 plus spectacular murals in all the different forms that they create. Some of them socially relevant, inspirational, whimsical, abstract, expressionists, renditions of masterpieces, one sheets from movies. You see everything. It really is still a museum without walls, and we're so proud of it, of the artists who bring their talent and energy. Our original mission for the Pasadena Chalk Festival was to expose this real art form to the public, and we certainly done that. We went from a very small attendance in front of City Hall to tens of thousands of people enjoying Father's Day weekend over at Paseo, Colorado, and looking at this artwork, families, those of all ages. And so we're really proud of having accomplished that goal. The other goal was to build the artist community, and that's something that's also really happened. We've seen artists look forward to this like a homecoming. They really are an extended family, and it's something that actually exists. It's bigger than life and it's bigger than us, and the artists look forward to it every year to be able to come back and see their friends. Many projects, art projects, have come from it. Many programs have come from it, and friendships, as well as marriage and even babies. So we're very fortunate and grateful to be part of the extended family of the Pasadena Chalk Festival. Now let's watch and enjoy 28 years of art making.
appraisal, cause I'm a hooker selling songs and my pimp's a record label. This world is full of demon stocks and bonds and Bible traders. So I do the deed, get up and leave a climber and a sadist, yeah. Are you ready for the sequel? Ain't ready for the latest? In the garden of evil, I'm gonna be the greatest. In a golden cathedral, I'll be praying for the faithless. And if you lose, boo-hoo. Hey, look, ma, I made it. Hey, look, ma, I made it. Everything's coming up pieces, pieces. If it's a dream, don't wake me, don't wake me. I said, hey, look, ma, I made it. Friends are happy for me, or they're honeysuckle phonies, and they celebrate my medals, or they wanna take my trophies. Some are loyal soldiers, while these other thorns are rosy. And if you never know who you can trust, then trust me, you'll be lonely. Oh, are you ready for the sequel? Ain't ready for the latest? In the garden of evil, I'm gonna be the greatest. In a golden cathedral, I'll be praying for the faithless. And if you lose, boo-hoo. Hey, look, ma, I made it. Hey, look, ma, I made it. Everything's coming up pieces, pieces. If it's a dream, don't wake me, don't wake me. I said, hey, look, ma, I made it, I made it. I said, hey, look, ma, I made it, I made it. I see it, I want it, I take it, take it. If it's a dream, don't wake me, don't wake me. I said, hey, look, ma, I made it. Mama, best believe it. Mama, best believe it. Think I must be dreaming, but awake and breathing. Mama, best believe it. Mama, best believe it. Think I must be dreaming. Hey, look, ma, I made it. All my life been hustling, and tonight is my appraisal, cause I'm a hooker selling songs and my pimp's a record label. This world is full of demon stocks and bonds and Bible traders. So I do the deed, get up and leave a climber and a sadist, yeah. Are you ready for the sequel? Ain't ready for the latest? In the garden of evil, I'm gonna be the greatest. In a golden cathedral, I'll be praying for the faithless. And if you lose, boo-hoo. Hey, look, ma, I made it. Hey, look, ma, I made it. Everything's coming up pieces, pieces. If it's a dream, don't wake me, don't wake me. I said, hey, look, ma, I made it.
Okay, so I'm Lori Antoinette, and we are Chalk Mafia, and we got this notion that we wanted to do a grand piece, and we found this Norman Rockwell piece that is called Golden Rule. It's actually really appropriate for right now because of everything that's been going on and the things opening up, and with now Juneteenth being a holiday, that just fell into our laps. We weren't anticipating that. Since it did, we're taking advantage of that too. It's wonderful. So this piece with Norman Rockwell is actually a piece that he did in 1961, where he took images from photographs that he had taken on a round the world trip back in 1955 and put them all together and created this beautiful piece with basically the lesson on this is to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And so we, as a group of caring, loving Chalk Mafia people, got together and we enlisted the Lightbringers. We're so grateful for Lightbringers and Paseo, and asked them if they would mind if we used their facilities and their beautiful ground here to create our dream. And they loved the idea too. We were so happy.
Hello friends! This is my mural this year. I'm super excited to be with you again in October. It's been a good 15 years since I've been back in Pasadena, so I can't wait to hug y'all. Y'all inspire me every day. Cheers. Keep making art. We'll see you soon.
Hi everyone, it's Bianca. I know we've had a really tough year last year, but this fall we're gonna come together and create murals all over again. I've been doing this for over a decade now, and what I love most about the Chalk Festival, it's like when I go, I feel like I'm going to a family reunion. I've seen the same faces for about 10 years now, and I feel like you guys are my extended family, and I cannot wait to see you guys this year, this fall. I'm over the moon excited. I hope to see everyone there. Yeah, I'll see you soon.
To the right of our scene, the sites of the Pasadena Chalk Festival at City Hall in Paseo, Colorado, is the first super moon of 2021. And I think it's really important to show that as it's rising. And I think it speaks to a kind of new beginning for all of us. And speaking of that extended family of the Pasadena Chalk Festival, including us at Lightbringer Project, are really looking forward to seeing each other sooner than later.